Hello, hello. Happy Wednesday and Merry Christmas. If you celebrate it, happy holidays, everybody. If you are watching this on December 25th, thank you for joining us today. And if you're watching this later, we don't blame you at all. Go enjoy your holidays and watch this on Thursday or Friday, once you have a chance to take a breather. This is the Abomination Goddess podcast, and I have with me today Casey Hulsa. She is a debut author, and her first book is titled Abomination Born, which you can see on the screen. It is a gripping fantasy novel that explores themes of identity, power, and belonging. And you can get it on Amazon, Kindle, or Audible. And the Audible version is really cool and is done by her editor, Katrina, which is really cool. I like that. Casey is an award-winning public speaker, and I think you'll find by watching this podcast and reading her books that she effortlessly draws her audiences into both her world and her book, and then on the stage as well. She is deeply passionate about creating welcoming spaces for those who feel like they don't quite fit the mold, cherished by their loved ones, but often misunderstood. Which, I feel that way, and that's why I'm happy that I got to meet Casey. And outside of writing, Casey thrives on building meaningful connections with kindred spirits and celebrating the magic of individuality, which is one of Casey's magic. Like, I don't know, the magic that she brings to the world. So, welcome, Casey, and thank you for joining me. This is
Thank you.
one of my favorite parts of the week is when we get to talk. So, I appreciate having you.
Thank you.
And yeah. I am Ashley Kim. I am the author of Villainera Goddess, which is like almost published. We are fixing a few formatting issues, and then this baby will be out the door. Probably going to be the first week in January, when the print version is available. The ebook is out there right now, so you could go check it out if you want. I wrote this book to help women on their journey to set boundaries, build confidence, and heal themselves. It is a very honest and open look at what I went through to survive my villain era. I am the founder of a digital marketing agency, and I use my experience to guide female entrepreneurs to strengthen their confidence and their online presence. And I just love working with women and meeting with women, having conversations like the ones that Casey and I have on our podcast each week. So, welcome everybody, and we are excited to get started.
Mhm.
Yay. Okay. Um, let's see here. Do we want to go right into show and tell, or what do
Yeah,
you think? Yeah,
yeah,
okay.
that sounds good.
All right. I am going to share my screen. It's my favorite part. Okay. All right. Do we want to look at the book cover first or the card first?
Either one.
Okay, let's look at this book cover. This is so eye-catching. And
Isn't
so
it
these
awesome?
are, yeah. Okay, so these are oracle cards, correct?
Right, right.
Okay. The Wild Green World, the Fairy Forest. I am already in love with it just with the photos. And then this is the card that you pulled today, the
Yes.
Elf Queen, Introverted Burden Responsibility.
The Elf Queen represents somebody who has been practically asleep, and
Mm,
it's time for her to wake up. And so at this time of the year we're ending our sleep time and we're coming into our, this is our awake time, the return of the light.
yeah, I love this.
I do
What a
too.
gorgeous photo.
It
Her
is.
outfit is adorned with leaves and berries. And she has on a crown that is made of, would that be like decorative twigs and flowers and berries, maybe? It is
Yes.
absolutely gorgeous. And then flowers that look kind of like a poppy or a poinsettia. I can never say that word right.
Hmm.
Um, Gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous. I love this. What a good card. And then we have two stones as well.
I took my magnet earlier and I was running my magnet across my stones. And of course, now this is the lodestone. and the magnet grabbed onto it right away. And
Really?
yes, a lodestone is meant to guide you in your next direction. So I thought it was so perfect for
Yes.
what's coming next. It's to help keep us focused on what we want to do for this upcoming change that we're going through.
Yeah. I love that. And that's called a lodestone?
That's called a lodestone. And
Okay.
anything black, like the lodestone, and now this is hematite. The
Mhm.
black stones also are grounding and they're protection as well.
Yes.
Very good for protection. Hematite, again, hematite is for helping you be grounded. When I have to work around a lot of numbers, if I have to do a lot of adding or dealing with numbers and lists of numbers, I'll
Yeah.
put on hematite for sure because it'll ground me. It makes my brain work better
Oh my
for
gosh.
this world.
Yeah. I need to remember that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't get along with numbers. I will definitely be remembering that.
Yeah, if you can get yourself a big, heavy hematite necklace, that would be
Yeah.
wonderful for that. You just put it on, and it helps. Well, at least it does me.
Yeah.
I can all of a sudden think clearer when
Right.
it comes to
Right.
lists and numbers.
Okay. Yep. I'm definitely going to try that because, yeah, for me, when it comes to numbers, I want to crawl out of my skin and
Yes.
I'll do whatever I can do to avoid it. Ooh, I love that. Yes. Love it. Love it. Um, I have the bear oracle card, and this is still from the Sacred Cycles oracle. And I really liked the bear. I trust in my sacred boundaries. And the journal prompt that goes with this card is what needs to be taken care of so that I can feel safe to rest and replenish myself. And I thought that was good for this time of year because it is necessary to rest and replenish yourself. And you do need to feel safe to do that. And as we move into, a time of new things and, taking action, this is, this is your week to rest, replenish, and be a mama bear to yourself so that you can.
What I like about that also is the symbology of a bear. You know how bears are very stubborn, and
Hmm.
that's a very good thing. Sometimes we have to be stubborn about the positive path that we want to go on.
Yeah.
We don't want to get caught up in other people's negativeness, and so we use that stubbornness
Yeah.
to hold us on a path that we want to go down.
Yep. I love that. I love that. And yeah, you're right. It can be easy sometimes to be swayed off your path.
Right, right,
Sometimes it just takes somebody who is
right.
really good at words or seems really passionate, and suddenly you're questioning, what you're doing. And yeah, be stubborn and stay on that path. Um,
My grandma would say, my mom's mom, for us, the bear was her uh, totem animal, and for our clan, it was the bear, and
yeah.
uh, for the women, because the women were the rulers, we were the matriarchs, and so the bear is how we're to be. And she would get, cross her arms and stand tall and put her head up high and
Yeah.
walk. And I was in her village in Hungary, and that was just how Elizabeth, her niece, would walk through the village.
Really?
Yes,
Oh,
as this
cool.
bear.
Yeah. I love that.
Yes,
I love
proud.
that.
And you're going
Yay.
to hold your head high, and no matter what, doesn't matter what,
Hmm.
you're going to go
Yep.
down the path that you want to go down, and you will be a bear. And bears don't have very many predators.
No, they do not. They do not. Yep, that is very true. People get out of the way for bears.
Yes.
Um, Another thing that I liked about this card, and this is going to be weird, but I don't know. I feel like half the stuff I say is weird, but um, one of the things I liked about it, just seeing the bear, like, in the cave, almost basically hibernating, and I should verify if this is true, but I read one time that sometimes bears will wake up and they've had their cubs. and they meet their cubs, and basically that was happening while they were hibernating. And to me, that served as a reminder of you don't always have to be active in a way that is chaotic. Sometimes resting and relaxing is when new birth happens, and metaphorically. So I really liked that reminder just for myself as well, as I am the person who feels like nothing's going to happen the way I want it to if I'm not creating a ton of energy around me. And and it's a good reminder for myself. I don't necessarily need to be creating chaotic energy. I can just sit back and relax and let it happen
I
and eat
love
all the
that.
salmon I want.
Right. And that's in that dream time. And of course,
Hmm.
it's in the womb. It's during the time of
Right.
the womb where you're
Yeah.
coming up with your things. You're
Yeah.
creating, you're building it,
Yep.
you're creating it, you're putting it
Yes,
together.
exactly. And I think sometimes we feel like if you're not working so hard that you want to drop dead, then you're not going to get what you want. And
Yeah.
that's not true.
That's
So
that
I like,
saying, being a human doing rather than a human being.
yes, yes, yeah. And it took me quite a while to realize that. So yeah. I will put these in the Substack email that we send out, and I'll try to get as many images as I can in there. Okay, I'm gonna stop sharing for a second. And we were talking about when we were looking at the Queen Elf Oracle card, you had said something along the lines of, we're getting ready to, step into, what's coming, like, what you're working on or what's new. Um, and so I thought it would be a good time to maybe just talk through what does that mean? Because like I was just saying, um, my instinct to me means, oh, I better get moving. I better be doing this. I better be doing that. But how do we gently usher into a new, that new season or that new phase, as we transition?
And you're right, it is a transition. One of the things our friend Katrina Schroeder's, she's working as our editor and
Mhm.
everything genius. And
Yes.
she was suggesting in a new book that she has coming out about asking ourselves the why we do
Mhm.
something and to so I got to thinking, at this time I need to know why did I write my book? Why am I
Mhm.
coming forward with this? Why am I going out to all the metaphysical events in this upcoming year? Why am I doing it? And I realized that my main why is because I want the community. I want people to get together. I
Mhm.
want them to know that they're not alone.
Yep.
Like I had said before, when somebody was reading my book, I thought they were going to say something bad about the fact that I mentioned the pit. And instead, they say they know the pit. Yeah, wow,
Yep.
yeah.
Yeah.
And who do they
That's
get to talk to about stuff like that?
right. Right. Exactly. I love that. That is a perfect reason why I think as humans, we're constantly, even if we don't admit it or we don't know we're doing it, we are looking for our community or we are trying to fit into a community. And and that's one of the things with my book as well is part of, that whole, I call it the villain era, but is when you realize that maybe the community that you're a part of might be harming you and it might not be set up for you.
Oh,
And
right.
that doesn't, yeah, and that doesn't mean you always have to run out as fast as you can. Like for me, I wanted to set boundaries and see who I could keep in my life and things like that. But, the whole point was I felt like I didn't have a safe place. I didn't have a community. And, I guess, I don't know, you saying that, I think that's one of my biggest things too for my book is that I want that community. And for me, it will be mostly a new community because I don't have a lot of people in my life that I could, openly talk to things about. And that's why I love our podcast is I feel like we can just kind of say whatever comes to mind and it's just us,
Right.
you know? And I like that. And I don't know, I kind of think that's the whole point is somebody might not resonate with everything I say, but if I get to be open and honest and I allow them to be open and honest, then we're supporting each other. And that's the point. And so I don't know.
And your book doesn't focus on woundology. It
Hmm.
it focuses on, okay, what do we do about it?
Right. Yes.
What steps can we do? Let's move forward.
Yep.
Let's have
Yes.
some fun. You're so funny. Your
Exactly.
book is just hilarious.
Thank you. Yes.
It's
Yeah. And I didn't want anyone to read my book and feel traumatized or, like sometimes you read a book and it is something that you've gone through too, but that doesn't necessarily mean that you want to walk through someone else's haunted house. And so I tried to make it so that, yeah, it was funny, and empowering because
mhm.
if it is just you building yourself back up, then here are the things you need to do to get it done. And it's amazing how powerful you are, individually inside, and that should be celebrated a lot more than it is.
Well, like that oracle card that I had showed, the Elfin Queen,
Hmm.
she is in a realm where she's been almost like Snow White asleep, you know. Not Snow White,
Hmm.
is it Snow White? Yeah, Snow White's asleep. So she's been like that, and this is her time for awakening. And I think both yours and my stories have to do with awakening and
Definitely.
opening our eyes to more. There's just more
Right.
out there.
Right. Definitely. Yes. And one of the things that I really liked about your book, and I was talking to somebody just yesterday and brought up your book, but she was just nervous about, and I think no matter where you are, if your eyes are open enough, you are going to be nervous about the state of the world, and just things like that. And so I don't think that's anything that's new to anybody, but she was just nervous about, what's going to happen next and what do we do? And just kind of feeling a little doom and gloom. And the biggest answer I had was create something, like go create something. And that's, been what I've been trying to do for myself if I'm feeling stressed about anything is, well, what can I make? What can I make today? And so yesterday, my daughter and I, we did a bunch of baking. We made lemon cookies and we made, some yummy things. And let me tell you, I didn't think about anything bad the whole time. We put on music and we sang and we danced and we baked. And
You know, in the old days, I mean, way, way back, one of the main reasons for traditions was so because everyday life was difficult. I mean, nowadays it's so much easier, but years
mhm,
ago, I mean, things were pretty difficult. And the traditions is what held people together. They had something to look forward to,
yeah,
and they would get together with people. And so that is why it's good to celebrate this time of year. This is a time of year to reflect about what the year's been, and
yep,
then reflect about what do you want for this coming year. And if your
yeah,
focus is on things like that, it's not going to be on the doom and gloom. It's going to be
right,
on what can we do that's going to be helpful in this upcoming year. And
yes,
one of the
yes,
things, of course, the is lighting the candles and to bring back the light. And of
yes,
course, me, I'm going to be talking with my stones. Oh, my stones just calm me down.
yeah,
I'm going to
yep,
visit with my stones for sure.
yes, yes, yep,
Rearrange them. I'll be making a new grid pattern for my stones and set the tone for this upcoming year.
yeah,
And, you know, things like
yeah, yep. I love that. And, I think that's something anybody can do, is put, basically an altar together and put your stones on there or, I don't know, something that symbolizes something to you. You have candles, stones, feathers, your bells. I'm just looking at mine right now. Um, I have a little baby cauldron on mine and an incense burner. Yeah, I have
And the broom, get out the broom and
yes.
start sweeping.
Yep.
Send out
Yep,
that
start
light and
sweeping.
love and stop and try to feel the joy coming in. It's a reality. It really does happen. And let
Hmm.
that joy just come in
Yep.
and ground
Yes.
yourself with the sweeping of the bristles, um, the air, the earth that you're pulling up,
Hmm.
and then the water that comes up, the wooden handle, and the fact that the wooden handle can feed the fire, so you're dealing with the different elements, and then there's yourself, your own self with that.
Yeah.
Yeah, you become part of this world. And once you're
Yes.
part of this world, I mean, the problems of things, they just like seem to melt away because you're part, it's like you're this one blade of grass. That's what you are,
Uh-huh.
you know?
Yeah. Yep.
It totally
Yeah.
changes the perspective.
Yes.
We can be
I
like the sunflower that goes with the sun. Wherever the sun goes, the sunflower
yep.
follows.
Yes. Yeah, I was just thinking even being just rooted next to my sage plant in the backyard,
Oh, yeah.
and just feeling like I'm part of my garden, because that is
But a
my happy
sage
place.
plant, well, a sage plant lifts itself up and flies away, you know?
Ooh,
the,
yeah,
the they have this the sage goes as a tumbleweed across the
yeah,
high desert the desert all the time. And so
yep,
the sage eventually goes through the phase where they have wings, and they're just
yes,
flying.
yes. They're in the air. Yeah, I love that. I didn't think about that. I like that. Yes, and I love my sage plant too because it is the host of so many different bugs throughout the year, and it's fun just to see, you know. And I don't, it's probably not healthy for them, but we get even like little slugs and snails and stuff in there. And so my daughter, my youngest daughter and I, we will go out and see who's living at the sage plant, just throughout the season. And I can't wait to be doing that again this spring. I'm excited to get back into my garden, and we are going to start a indoor garden. We bought some grow lights, and we're going to dedicate a wall to
Oh, good
and
idea.
just having an indoor garden. And that was one of the things that helped us out is we replaced a lot of our home decor with plants or natural elements. And that made our house feel a lot different. So we're excited to now
our
have a
our home
basically,
decor is rocks. I remember one of Al's friends who's a doctor, he came over and he looks around and you see these giant pieces of petrified wood, and I've
yep,
got big, huge granite balls, you know,
yeah.
and he's like, what is this?
Welcome to our home.
Yeah.
We're the same way. I was just researching ways to decorate with branches. So people bring in the
Yes,
huge branches and sand them
yes,
down and lacquer
yes,
them. And oh my gosh, it is so cool. So I have been saving because I'm like, oh, how am I going to bring branches into my house now?
yes, yes.
Uh, yeah, I think that's my one of my 2025 goals is adding more plants to the backyard into the house and then decorating with branches. Those are my
When
goals.
we're thinking about things like this, who has time to be thinking about icky stuff?
Right, exactly, exactly. Right. And I don't want to say that like it's wrong, to try to plan ahead and make sure you're safe. Like do what you have to do, but don't focus on it. Don't scroll on social media just to read the latest icky things. Like you can get a gist for what's happening in the world and make your steps to feel safer, but then you should be done. Stop, you know, and that's one of the things I was talking with someone else about. And I was like, if someone keeps bringing up all the icky things, maybe it's time to take a break or just say, hey, let's talk about this instead, or, things like that. Because at the end of the day, you still have to get through tomorrow.
Mhm,
And you don't have to do that with a heavy heart. And I don't know, I think that's the beautiful thing about getting to choose is,
mhm.
you can choose. It's harder work sometimes to find the good, but then once you do, it becomes easier and easier and easier And after a while, it's harder to find the icky than it is the good. And so just, stay on that path. And it's circular or a spiral. So
That's
there are
right.
going to be times when you're like, woohoo. And then there are going to be times you're like, crash and burn. But you go back at everything you've learned and you pick yourself back up and reteach yourself. Um, which honestly, sometimes I have to even read old chapters of my book, to be like, well, what did I do in this situation? Or, what happens if somebody put me down in this situation? What did I do to make myself feel better? And I would go back and read those and pick myself back up.
That's why I like the tarot too, because you're going around this, at least the way I do the tarot, you go around the circle up to the number 12, and then it starts all over again. 13 is actually, uh, in the 3 o'clock position on your clock, going around, and 14, 15, all the way back up to 21. And so you can, if you go through a situation the first time through, and you're having a struggle with it, well, there's a second time going through that same thing, and you're going to be a master of it, or much better at it the second
Yeah.
time through. Or if you're starting all over again, you're still going to be better because the spiral keeps going up and up and up.
Yes. Yeah. Yes, definitely. And I think that's what's helpful too is when something does come up, it's not the doom and gloom of, oh, this again, or why does this
Mhm.
happen? It's more of a, oh, I leveled up. It's time to handle it better this time. Like, what did I learn? But it adds a little, it adds more positivity to a situation. And it's also a reminder that that situation is temporary because sometimes that's the other thing that we have to kind of get out of our heads is,
One of the
we're
things that
just,
I learned uh, from the universe was when I am pushing real hard toward a direction, and the universe has another thing for me, and really what the universe is leading me toward is what I came to do,
Mhm.
And when I'm pushing real hard in a direction, we're good at everything, so let's say I'm really good at this other thing. Well, what the universe will do is they'll set these huge obstacles in my way, and it's like, whoa, why did that happen? And then I
Yeah.
realized, oh, that's right. I was going the wrong direction. I was missing the mark. Just
Mhm.
because you're good at all these different things doesn't mean we're supposed to be doing all those different things. We promised
Right.
ourselves before we came to the planet we were going to do such and such, and
Hmm.
we got sidetracked for a little while, and the universe shuts us down, and
Right.
so and it's not that these people are trying to be mean or trying to shut you down. It's because somehow or another they are obeying your need. you know so I needed them to be the way they were because I was starting to do things their way
Yep.
rather than my way.
Exactly. Exactly. And I mean, that's something you don't always see until later. You don't always see the message or why something happened until later. Um, but yeah, we went, an example of that would be, and I think I write about this in my book, but I don't know how much detail I put in there now that I'm thinking about it. But in 2021, I had a really good friend just ghost me and stop talking to me. And basically,
2021.
yep, 2021. And to the point where like I didn't hang out with, it was about a group of four of us, I think. Nobody called me anymore. And the others would like send me like text messages or memes, but nobody invited me to anything. And I remember I was so heartbroken. And then this year I saw that girl again. And I remember thinking how blessed I was that she ghosted me. She was still miserable, still complaining about her husband, still complaining about money, still complaining about her, and everything was the exact same. And I just thought, oh my gosh, that was probably me. When we hung out, I was probably saying those things too. Um, oh, I was so grateful. I just wanted to hug her and be like, thank you for ghosting me and forcing me to basically level up by losing a friend base and, going out and finding my own community. Um, oh, it was one of the best things that could have ever happened to me.
Yes.
And yeah, and at the time, you know, well, until this year, actually, probably early this year is when I first started to not be brokenhearted, like have a broken heart about it. And then it was this fall when I saw her again. And yeah, I was like, man, that was one of the best things that's ever happened to me. It didn't feel like it at the time, but I am so glad that it did. Yeah.
I was in 2001, I was taking lots of college classes and doing really well. And one of the teachers, I had aced every single test that she gave. I got, like 100 on almost every single test that she gave. So she accused me of cheating. And it took me to the chancellor and everything. And the chancellor, of course, he knew me. And I had volunteered all over the college and did everything for the college. And so he knew
Yep.
me really well. And he's like, "What are you doing here?" And,
Yeah.
and he completely dismissed the whole thing because every class I took, I'd get 100% on all the classes. Well, I'm old. I've already read all these books. Matter of fact, every single book that the test was done on, I'd already read. And
Right.
um, and the thing was, okay, I had to ask the stones, why did this happen? Why would someone think that?
Yeah.
And then I talked to the stones, and the stones let me know that I was on a path of becoming a professor kind of person. I was going to do
Ah,
that and be in that world with, you know, um, these other girls they're all doing it. We were all taking classes, and I was thinking about becoming a psychiatrist and doing all this, and I was not supposed to do that. That was not my path.
interesting.
That
Yeah.
was not just because I can do it and I was smart and I'd read all these books doesn't mean that that
Yep.
was for me.
Yeah.
And the stones really helped me to see that that wasn't for me.
Yeah. Yeah, that is amazing. What a good relationship. That I don't know, makes me want to ask, for somebody just getting started, how did how do you cultivate your relationship with your stones? Is it just holding them and listening or doing your research on them? And I know for you, you're probably like, well, my whole life that's just been
Yeah,
what I've been doing.
right.
Um, but for someone, I'm just thinking someone like me, I would like to have a better relationship with them. I feel like with me and my stones, it's more like I'm grabbing one based on, what I've read that it can do versus being more
Right.
intuitive about it, if that makes sense. Yeah.
Remember I talked about the tarot? Like if I'm going to do a tarot reading, I will have to first of all make the decision. And is this going to be my rules for it? Or is this going to
Yes.
be something that Rachel Pollack has written about it or one of the other authors? Everybody's got their own kind of ideas. Or is it something my grandma would have taught me? Am I going to
Yeah.
listen to that first? And then I go ahead and do the reading. And it's the same with the stones. Uh, what with that, and most all the time I'm going with mine, what I get from the stones. But I'm a stone person. I'm a Taurus, and so I
Yeah.
am I am I am definitely into rock. But
Yep.
and you're an air person.
Gemini. Yeah, I'm a
Yeah,
Gemini.
yeah. So you're an air person. You're
Yeah.
definitely so a rock for you would be that I would think that would not be the first thing that would be of use for
Mhm.
you.
Okay.
Um, Things that have to do with the air would be better for an air person. Um,
Okay.
uh, you'd mentioned trees. You'd like the
Mhm.
trees
I
and
do like trees. Yep. I like my herbs. Yeah, I like incense smoke. Um,
smoke. Yes. Oh, smoke is a big deal.
yeah, I do I love having smoke going.
Yes.
Probably sounds horrible,
Yeah.
but I'm
No,
either
that's
burning incense or sage, yeah, just to have
yeah.
and I'll keep lighting that sage stick on fire just to see the smoke come out of it.
Yes. Yes. For the smoke. And then the
Hmm.
broom, sweeping. Sweeping is really
Hmm.
important. Of
Yes.
course, it connects to everything, but that would be really good. And
Yeah.
during the time that you're connecting with something that is more for you, that's when you can begin to become yourself again. Because the world, just like with me, it's like I was just shocked. Why would anyone say anything like that to me? What,
Right. Yeah.
what's wrong? I pay good money for this class. I mean, I was paying it out of my own pocket, so it costs hundreds of dollars to go to school. And,
Yeah.
you know, uh, of course I'm going to study. And of course,
Right.
if I don't get every question right, I think this wasn't good.
Right.
And
Right.
so for me, this being close to the ground or being close to stones helps me to become myself again, and not be taken off in this other direction,
Mm-hmm.
whatever it is. And for you, the cloud or something in the air, something to do with the
Hmm.
air, is where you belong. And during the time that you're
Okay.
in that, then you can find yourself again. And you
Yeah.
can,
Okay.
you know,
Yep. Yeah, that makes sense. And I didn't even put together how much until just now, literally, us talking, how much I have smoke going around me
mhm. Yeah,
all the time.
yeah, right. You see sometimes even people who smoke cigarettes, they're really not
Mhm.
smoking. All they're doing is holding it out here and they got that smoke going. And I know right away, oh yeah, that's probably someone who has a high air.
Yeah.
There's
Yep.
something about that they need that
Yeah.
air.
Yeah.
And then there's
Oh,
people who absolutely function most when they are near water. I mean,
hmm
they've submersed themselves in water. Now, when I'm submersed in water, I'm thinking, oh yeah, my feet are going to get swollen. you know, I am not enjoying being
Yeah.
in water for very long at all. I don't even like taking
Yep.
long baths.
Yeah.
So some people, like my husband, he's a Gemini also. He is air and water.
hmm
He is both.
Yep.
And yeah, he could be in the lake, doing the dead man float forever. I mean, he's
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yep. Yeah, my daughters and I, we all, or my son too, we all are water people. My 5-year-old, she's hyperactive, but if I can get her in the bathtub when she's being out of control, it changes everything. And yeah, she just, I don't know. I do believe water fixes so many things with kids.
yeah. I am more the ground for
Hmm.
sure, and then fire. When I am up now, we're moving into January in a couple weeks, and I will be insisting that Al have a fire for me all the time. We'll be outside. There's going to
Yep.
be fires, and I don't do like a ceremony or anything. When you're outside and there's a fire, that's the ceremony. And then if beings want to come in, they'll come in because they come into fire.
Yeah. Yes. I like that. Yeah, once it's springtime, I have fires going quite a bit as well outside. And it's also occurring to me as we're talking that if I don't have a lot of smoke in my fire, I am disappointed.
Yeah,
Like I want to see that smoke. And I do feed so like I harvest herbs at the end of the year and I will just hang them outside because the sole purpose is just to put them in my fires for, spring through summer. And then I will even cut fresh mint and stick it on the very top of the little chimney thing on our little fire thing outside just
sure.
so the smoke can go through it and it smells so good. Oh, I'm excited. I can't wait for spring.
Mm.
Oh my
So
goodness.
that's what when we get thrown off from people, places, or things, we can
Yeah.
reach for our favorite element.
Yeah.
And and if we don't know what our favorite element is, we give it a try. Try all the
Yeah.
different ones and
Yeah.
see.
Yep. Yep.
Like when I was little, I could not sleep on the bed. If I was upset about anything, I could not sleep on the bed. I'd have to sleep on the floor and just be flat on the
Oh,
floor.
yeah. Yeah.
And then I'd be okay.
Yep.
Why is that?
Yeah. Right. Right. Oh, that's interesting. I have a cousin-in-law who prefers to sleep on the floor.
Now that I'm old, I can't so much.
Yeah.
Getting up might be problem. but but yeah, there's
Oh,
different things
yeah.
and we can stop and think, and I call it my back pocket ideas. So for years, that's what I would have. I would have a list of different things that I knew could help me out in a pinch.
Yeah.
And of course, one is choose again.
Yep.
Whenever if I'm some, I can always do that. Choose again, choose again. But
Yes.
these other things are having these ideas in my back pocket. What do I do that helps me become me again? Remember who I am, not
Right.
not get lost.
Yeah. Yes. And I think that's a good idea. Yeah, I usually have a post-it note that I have up for myself so that if I'm feeling like I need something, and I took it down when we had company over, I need to get it put back up. Because I would refer to that all the time. I would probably have 5 or 6 ideas on there for myself of things I could do to get through. Yeah, I need to get that back out. Oh, I forget. Um, awesome. Okay. Well, yeah, I think we've been talking for a little while now.
Oh, wow, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So what are our lessons? Just based on what you just said, having ideas in your back pocket, I think that is paramount. So pay attention to which elements really call to you. Keep those ideas written down. It could be water, air, like the smoke. It could be fire. It could be
Be music,
rocks, music. Oh, yes. Yes. Perfect. And keep those ideas around you because when you need them, you're probably not going to think of them right away.
right?
Need
Like
those
your
written down.
chimes,
Mm-hmm.
a
Mm.
tone,
Yep. Yep. Singing bowls. Oh, I love singing bowls. Yeah,
just to
any
help
of
you
those things.
remember who you are.
Yeah. Yep. And, as you start 2025, get all that stuff out and start just hugging your rocks and ringing your bells and lighting stuff on fire. Like, do it all. It's a great time to celebrate and it's a great time to just surround yourself with all that kind of energy. That's what I'm going to do today. Now that when we get done, I'm going to go light some sage on fire and get my singing bowl out.
Yeah.
So, yay. Anything that I'm missing that we talked about? No? Okay. Awesome.
We're
Okay.
the
Well,
queen awakening up. We're the elf
yes.
queen waking up.
Yep. Waking up.
Time to
What a
wake
good
up.
time to wake up. Yes. I loved that card. Yes. Waking up and enjoy your holidays and this last parts of December and jump into 2025. Um, woken up and ready to go like a bear. Awesome. Okay. Well, we hope that everybody really enjoys their holidays and that you have time to just rest and reflect and just, have time to just be grateful for where you're at in your life and what you've accomplished and be proud of yourselves. And yeah, okay. That's it
Yep.
for today.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.